Hi YouTube. I was feeling like I couldn't come on here today and like make another YouTube video, but you know what? I decided to do it anyway, even though I'm not feeling my hottest. Like, that doesn't mean I can't be on here. So I wanted to talk about some books and some manifestation things that I have been, or what I feel like that's gotten me to this point where I just kind of wanted to talk about things that I've been reflecting on. I didn't write anything down. I just started recording because honestly, I feel like I make plans so much for YouTube, and then I get caught up in the whole idea of planning things that I don't post at all. So now I'm just on here, and there's so many things I want this channel to be, but I feel like I'm very lazy and feeling very self-conscious right now, so there's certain things that I feel like I keep ruling out, but the least I can do is at least turn on my phone and start recording, because I feel like people think ranting, or I always think, oh, maybe I don't have something interesting to say, but you know, I probably do have something interesting to say. How about we do some goal setting based on like the things that I've learned? So the first book I want to talk about that I feel like has really changed my mindset on the way that I do things and the way I go about things is Atomic Habits by James Clear. And basically the way he lays things out, or from what I remember, I haven't honestly like heard or listened to this book in a long time, is one, build habits one by one, or write down a list of habits that you're trying to build, and then pretty much implement them as you go. Like, you can't start anything or do anything if you don't start from somewhere, and I think the first thing is writing things down. One of the things that I've been trying to do is lose weight, and honestly guys, I'm not gonna lie to you, out of all my goals that I've had, that's the one that's been the hardest for me. I really didn't want to make this channel about like my personal goals with like my weight and the way I view myself, but honestly I can't even lie, that's like one of the biggest things on my mind and the biggest things that I beat myself up on. But I have to realize, in order to keep making progress, you can't beat yourself up about things. You just have to take action and do them, and also reflect on like basically once you make the mistake or the thing that you did, you have to like go down, sit down, write about it and figure out how to change it. I'm doing this video only because I just feel like I haven't posted, and it's like I can't not keep posting. Like, I was even thinking about like doing a draw with me, because I am an artist and I can draw, but I don't know if you guys are here and interested in that. I'm not sure, but I am gonna like record like another video after this of like me drawing, and I think I'm just gonna post both videos and see how they do. But you know who really inspired me right now to start recording? Carrington. Y'all could look up his YouTube channel, but he's pretty much just like a TikToker. He's super inspirational. Like, his first YouTube videos, he was just cranking out, and he would just come here and talk and like let his thoughts out. And hi YouTube, I'm back. Welcome to my channel. Yay! Welcome to my channel. I am your cult leader, if you want me to be. You don't have to join the cult. That's kind of what every cult leader says. You don't have to join the cult, but if you want to, you can. This is the cult of Isis. There was a cult before me, but we're gonna make a new one, and this is for Isis, Ethereal Isis cult. So please join if you want. It's 4:20 around that time, and it's Sunday. I have to go back to my 9 to 5 tomorrow, and it's honestly like very, very terrifying to know that until I get this shit off the ground, or until like I start working for myself, no one's gonna save me. Ooh, you know what I want to talk about? I want to talk about what self-help has taught me, and I think that also falls into like how I got this apartment that I'm living in right now. I am 24 years old, and I pay for an apartment that's like 9 minutes away from the beach. I'm in South Florida, Fort Lauderdale to be specifically, and I live in a really nice area, and I just never thought I'd be able to afford something like this or even live this life right now. And one tip I can tell people is you want to budget your money, or at least save your money. If you're not a good budgeter, just don't think save, okay? And if you can't do that, well, you'll never be able to move out. One thing I did learn about self-help and like doing shit and getting shit done is you need to be real with yourself. Are you being real with yourself? Are you looking yourself in the mirror and analyzing things you don't like about yourself and figuring out how you're going to change it, or do you avoid the mirror? Which one are you? Are you the type of person to let things happen just to let things happen, and you just act like you have that cognitive dissonance that it's not happening to you, and you're just watching it happen to this person as if like, what is that called? It's like a disassociation thing. Like, don't disassociate. Like, I know right now we're in a big time of mental health and making sure our mental health is taken care of, but one thing I will say is you don't want to get caught up too much on what your limits are. Because for example, for me, I have a lot of anxiety. Like, I will say that I have a lot of anxiety about things, but one thing I realized, like, if I keep telling myself I have anxiety and that's why I can't, let's say, get the job because I have anxiety, and I can get, like, my heart's gonna start racing in the interview. Yes, that is true, but am I gonna move past that point, or am I just going to let the idea of the fact that I have anxiety stop me from doing things? Do you know how many people have gone through crap and they still do what they need to do anyway? Which person are you going to be? Are you going to be the person who's resilient, or are you going to be the person who isn't resilient and just thinks about doing it. Like the difference between getting closer to your goals and not getting closer to your goals and just hating yourself for it is taking action. Even if you don't feel 100% like you are in the state to do the thing that you want to do, it's like regardless of how you feel, just know that no one is going to take you to that point. No one's going to save you. No one's going to get you the goals. No one cares about you the way you care about you. It doesn't matter who it is in this world, your parents, no one in this life is, unless you are a trust fund baby and your parents just have a butt fuck load of money and you've come from wealth, no one is going to save you. No one is going to get you that apartment. No one's going to get you that dream job. No one is going to get you that dream house. I'm just saying, like, literally, no one's going to get you that dream relationship. Like, it applies to everything. No one is going to save you right now. Anything that you want, you better get that shit on your own. And if you feel like you can't do it by yourself, guess what? You're never gonna get it. I'm just gonna be real with you. Like, no one is going to save you. I feel like the biggest thing with self-help books and like reading self-help books and doing all this motivational stuff is you have to understand that. It's like I keep repeating it, but I just think that's like the biggest thing. Like, people really think like someone's gonna come in and save them, or maybe I should speak for myself. At one point, I was viewing life as if someone was going to come and save me, and I really had to remove myself from that, especially coming from a household where I was very fortunate to have a family that would get me things, buy me things if I needed it. Like, when I was in college, I think the first year or so I didn't have a job and my peoples paid for my rent. Now, mind you, I was in a small town, so rent wasn't that expensive, but it was still another, like, that was something that they had to, like, take money out to do for me. And when you're in situations where you grew up having people comfortably sustain you, you might rely on that cushion too much. And the only way to get yourself out of that cushion mindset is to remind yourself at the end of the day, even though they're helping you now, you can't get help forever. Like, you're okay, yeah, you might be 18, 16, 19, whatever, getting help from your parents, 20, however old you are, getting help from your parents. But think about it. Do you want to keep just having help from your parents and like let that be your life and let whatever limitations they have be your limitations, or do you want to take things into your own hands? Which one do you want to do? Because you can do both. No one is going to like tell you the truth the way you can tell the truth to yourself. Like, for example, how I want to lose weight. No one, I promise you, no one has looked at me and said, you need to lose weight. Oh, I noticed that like you gained like 10, 15 pounds. Oh, yeah, you want to lose that. Do you want to look like how you looked before? Oh, yeah, yeah, you might want to lose some weight. No one's going to say that to me. Everyone's just going to be like, no, Isis, you look good, you look great. And to be honest, I still do look good. But that's not the point. My point is, no one's going to like be real with you the way you're being real with you. Or like, if you know that you're fucking off and you're going to the club every Saturday and getting paying $15 for a drink and buying at least 2 drinks a night, or even more than that, and you know that your money is getting eaten up by going out, no one's gonna be like, oh, you should slow down. Yeah, slow down and just save your money. Like, no one's gonna sit you down and have those conversations with you once you hit a certain age. Especially if you're going out to clubs and drinking, that means you're at least 21 years old. I know for a fact my parents didn't do that with me. I mean, I never really was one to go out, but even if I was going out, they don't have any oversight over any of my credit cards, over my debit cards. Once I started making my own money, even if it wasn't 100% sustainable, they can't see what I'm spending. So same for you. One YouTube channel that I was like watching lately, I don't know if anyone else has heard of this, but it's called Caleb Hammer, and it's the financial audit. That shit was a wake-up call for me. Now, I have never really gotten into crazy debt before, but I will say I do have about like, I don't know, like $6K in student loans left to pay off. I did have like a scholarship to go to school, but it wasn't like, it paid for like maybe 75% of my tuition, but any books or anything like that, just living cost was on my own, and I had help from my parents at first. So thankfully I don't have a lot of debt, but I do have debt from that. And then I also have a car. I pay a car note and I pay car insurance every single month. Now that at the time I felt like I had no choice, or I'm not sure if I really knew what I was getting myself into, but yeah, I have those debts, but those are kind of like typical debts. But then anything outside of that I think is unacceptable to have. Like credit card debt, yo, if you think you're gonna get anywhere in life, credit card debt is the last thing you should be getting yourself into. Like, if you don't have money, don't fucking spend it. Like, if you want to go out and have fun, oh fucking well, do you want to go out and have fun and get into credit card debt, or go on that trip to Europe and get into credit card debt, or do you want to wait, not have any fun right now, be a fucking adult, pull up your bootstraps, as the boomers would say, and just wait until you do have the funds to do it? Because let me tell you something, the people that you see on the internet, the reason why I stopped giving a fuck about all that shit and like comparing myself is, one, I got off a lot of things. Like, I don't really, if I post on Instagram, I usually just post on my close friends. I don't really watch other people's story. I'm literally just posting for my own fun of it or hell of it. And there's maybe like there's like a handful of people's stories I would watch or like try to keep up with, but I don't really go on things like that. Like TikTok, I have TikTok, but I also don't want to get in the habit of like just like doom scrolling on there. Like, I don't want to do that. And I realize it doesn't matter anyway, because it just distracts me from my own life. And I feel like a lot of people almost kind of have this way of doing like escapism by going on those social media platforms and escaping their own life, and then seeing what other people are doing and then comparing myself. One thing I'm starting to realize after watching that show, what I was saying, the Caleb Hammer financial audit show, is a lot of people really just be living off of debt. Like, that's crazy to me. And I almost got into that situation where I started spending on my credit card with money I didn't have. Do not do that. Just because you see other people living these lives and you think they have this money, they don't have this money. Most Americans are fucking broke. So do not believe anything you see. If they're an influencer, it's either they're getting it for free or they're getting into debt and they just don't care, or they're like buying clothes, doing the haul and returning it. And you can do that too. But honestly, once I just learned how much things are a facade, it's like, okay, first things first, if you want to fucking help yourself, sorry, I didn't mean to curse, but if you want to help yourself, stop paying attention to the bullshit that are other people doing and doing what works for you. Like, there used to be a time, like in the 90s and stuff, that people didn't know what other people were doing. Like, that's not even normal. Knowing what Sally in fucking Uganda is doing at 2 p.m. right now while you're in America, that's unheard of. Like, that shouldn't even really be a thing. Or it's a thing, but it's a thing that's like, it's not natural to the way humans are. Like, I know back in the day when my mom was my age, I think social media did exist at that point, but it wasn't to the point where it's at now. And I just feel like people were mentally happier and healthier because they I'm gonna cut that out. They're mentally happy and healthier because they're not worrying or seeing what other people are doing. Like, that was my biggest downfall with Instagram and stuff. Like, I would compare my body, my lifestyle, the things I had in my life to what everybody else was doing on the internet, and it just got me nowhere. The only place that I really like to go on now is YouTube, and that's the only reason why I'm like starting this YouTube channel. It's because I genuinely believe in the impact of YouTube and the community that you can form just by coming on here and talking. And before I started filming this video, I was really overthinking, okay, what am I going to film? What am I going to do? And honestly, like, I'm just tired of doing that. Like, I just kind of want to come on here and, regardless of how I'm feeling, like, just hit record and just say my thoughts, because as much as I think my thoughts aren't interesting, shit, we're all interesting, I think. Like, we all have things we can say, and I just don't want to, like, look back at my life and regret things just because I was too scared to do it. And it's not even, like, hard. It's not something that's rocket science or you need to have perfectly figured out. Like, you don't. Like, it could be whatever. Like, I don't know. You get what I'm saying. But yeah, so what I do at times like this, like on Sundays, is I usually, yesterday I cleaned up my apartment. My bed is not made, but that's because I never make my bed. Also, that's another thing with self-help bullshit. Some things do apply, but like, you don't need to like have a 100% perfect morning routine or a 100% perfect night routine. Like, there was no morning routine or night routine that got me to this point, okay? What got me to this point was saving my money so I can move out. That's literally all it took. That's all it is. It's literally just an action. Yes, once you get a plan, stick to the plan, but do not replan, and then just sit there and do nothing and think the planning and prepping part is the part that's actually going to get you somewhere, because it's not. Manifesting is, the reason why manifestation works is because when you're writing things down and you repeatedly read it over to yourself every single day, you're automatically giving yourself auto-suggestions. Like, there's this thing called auto-suggestion, and that's when you're hearing a subliminal or just something that you are telling yourself repeatedly, regardless if you believe it or not, to a point where you start to believe it. Like, anything is repetition. As you know, riding a bike. How did you learn how to ride a bike? Repetition. How did you learn how to drive? Repetition. How did you learn how to literally do anything in life? It's just repetition. How did I learn how to start being on YouTube? Repetition. What's going to get me, what's going to make my channel grow? Repetition. Consistency. Repetition. Consistency. Repetition. It's literally that. Action. And what comes with, how do you do repetition? Action. How do you be consistent? Action. So it's really just those main things. You need to take action, you need to be consistent, and you need to have repetition. So even you could apply that to money and saving money. You need to take action, save the money. You need to repeat that several times to save the money. And you need to be consistent at saving the money. So it's like, honestly, it's just not rocket science. And I feel like you can get caught up in I have for years, like honestly all throughout college, I was just caught up in the whole prepping and planning. It honestly took me way too long to do this, but I've been the person who's read several self-help books just to learn the same thing. Honestly, I say the self-help books are good to read. Like, definitely get into reading self-help books, but you'll eventually get to a point once you read enough of them and realize that they're all pretty much saying the same thing. Or you're gonna read them, you're gonna have the knowledge, and you're gonna be like, great, yeah, knowledge is power. Has anything changed in my life? No. Okay, let me read another one. Okay, great. Honestly, that's a different perspective of saying the same thing. I'm glad I read that. But, did that change anything? No, none of it's going to change. Like, you can read these self-help books, but no, nothing is going to change until you start implementing what's in them, I think is what I'm trying to say. So let's see. What else did I want to say here about things? Oh, let me just name some like self-help books like off the dome that I feel like did definitely change my life though, because and they're popular ones. It's usually the most popular bestseller ones are pretty good. I mean, I don't really like to get into super niche books unless like I know for a fact it's like a specific author that I fuck with. But for one, I would say is Atomic Habits by James Clear. That'll really teach you how to like give yourself grace when you're learning how to implement a habit, and it's also teaching you ways. It's just like really tactics on how to build good habits. Like if you want something practical, that book right there will give you practical tips on how to do things. Because sometimes you'll read self-help books and like it'll be very much like just theoretical and just be like telling you things and just talking about shit, but it's nothing like, okay, take these steps to do this. Atomic Habits by James Clear is going to tell you steps to do things. So if you're gonna read anything first, read that. Then another book that's good about like finance, if you like finance books, is what's that book called? Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. That book is good. Also, with these self-help books, if you don't have money, do not spend your money on these books. Most of the books that I've read or like listened to, I do a lot of audiobooks. That's another thing. If you're not a good reader, don't worry about reading it. Just listen to it. I like to listen to these audiobooks when I go for walks. I like to do them when I'm just cleaning up my house. I like to even listen to them while I'm at work. I work a 9 to 5, and I just like if instead of listening to music, I listen to a podcast while I'm doing my work. You know, like there's so many ways to go about absorbing this information. Do not get discouraged about the whole reading the actual book. Like a lot of these books you can find for free. Just look up the title of the book and the author, and then look up PDF, and you'll probably find the PDF online. And you can do that on your phone, you can do that on your laptop, you can do that literally on whatever, or you can just go on YouTube. A lot of people post full audiobooks, probably illegally, but who cares? Like just take YouTube University, bro. Look up the book on YouTube, and then you can watch the audio. You can listen to the audiobook. The last audiobook that I listened to in full off of YouTube was The Art of Seduction by what's his name? The Art of Seduction. I forgot the artist, not the artist. I forgot the author's name just now. I'm pretty sure it'll come back to me, but he's like a really popular book writer. He made the 48 Laws of Power. I feel like a lot of people know that book more than any of his other books, but he's really good. And then he also has like a lot of YouTube videos that he's been posting, just talking about the sciences of the book. But yeah, there's so many ways to reach this knowledge in order to like get to the self-help journey. But now that I've did a whole spiel about self-help books, I'm gonna show you practically, guys, how I manifest things and how I pretty much go about things. And I'm gonna say, get a journal. I know even if like one thing I haven't done that I've been wanting to do is a vision board, but I feel like when it comes to making vision boards, if you want like a physical one, you have to print stuff out, you have to do XYZ, and honestly, that's honestly why I haven't done it yet. Like I feel like you can do like a Pinterest mood board, but it's digital. But if you want like a real one, like it costs money, and if you're a type of person who wants to do things with cutting the cost of money, I mean, you could do a digital vision board and then find a way to get it printed. But if you wanted to save money, let's do the other tips, which I say is journaling. This is like I don't even know, my nth journal, like probably since my adulthood years. This is my third one. Like I have both of my other old ones here. This was journal 1, this is journal 2, this is journal 3, and I think all of these started, well, I could just see the date because I dated all of these. Okay, yeah, this one's 2019, and like I'm not even lying to you guys. I want to just show you, I'm not even lying to you guys. Oh, I also draw in them, but filled, all the way filled. This one my grandmother got me. It's like genuine leather. Filled from front to back, filled. And I'm going to be able to look back on these for years and understand what my 19-year-old self, 20-year-old self, 21-year-old self, 22, like I'm going to be able to read my early 20s. And that's why I really recommend people to journal. One, to plan out your goals in life, and also just to like document how you were thinking now. This is another reason why I wanted to do YouTube. I really want to document myself at this age and be able to look back on it. So yeah, this is book number 3, and this book I specifically set the intention for manifestation. These last books were kind of depressing. This one, I think one of these are honestly really depressing, and one of these are talking a lot about like boys. Like I don't know, each book I definitely feel like had like an intention or whatever I was deeply like entrenched in. Like this book was kind of definitely like me reflecting and like this is my self-help book era. This is my just getting into college era, like still worried about the wrong things to me, which was like boys. Like I mean, boys are never like a problem. Like it's always fun to have something that you're interested in, I guess, or whatever. But my interests have now shifted from boys to doing better for my life and just honestly myself. But this book is specifically set for intentions. There's a lot of times in these pages where I pretty much just like wrote the same exact thing down. Like there's so many times where I just write the same exact goal down regardless if I hit it or not. And yeah, I like to also just do workshops in here. Like anytime I feel like I'm struggling with a certain goal, like I'll write down, okay, what's stopping me, things like that. So I guess for today, I want to just write what's on my mind. What is stopping me? What goals am I struggling to reach? I really like to analyze why I haven't reached a lot of goals, because it helps me reinvent the wheel or reinvent the way I'm going to approach something, because, you know, things happen where you want to do something and then it doesn't happen at the same time. And in order to like not be hard on yourself and give up on something, I think it's just better to analyze where you went wrong to like figure out how to go better about things. But before we get into that, I'm going to write my affirmations at this moment that I want to hear for myself. So I am so happy and grateful now that I make, let's say, $5,000 a month with my passionate YouTube videos. YouTube videos are fun to make. I always have great ideas for it. Literally just writing something down that reassures you that you have. I'm just literally just reassuring myself. That's literally all it is. And there is one tactic that I would say you can definitely do is write down all of your affirmations, like, I'm so happy and grateful now that I have a car. I am so happy and grateful now that I have a studio apartment. I am so happy and grateful I'm a model and I'm doing XYZ and I'm traveling here and there. Write that on a piece of paper, fold it up, put it in your pocket, take it everywhere you go. Pull that shit out anytime you're feeling like you're depressed and that you want to end it all. Just pull it out, read it to yourself, and put it away. Even if you don't believe in it, if you write in the book, if you write, I am so happy and grateful in front of every single one of those things, you're going to have to read that to yourself every time you open it up. And that's the whole power of autosuggestion. Yeah. I feel like I've just been like sitting and talking and I have no clue if this is like actually going to be interesting, but I know I said I wanted to sit down and talk about manifestation, and honestly, I don't know why I think me sitting here talking about it is like a boring topic, but it's not. I also feel like, you know what it is? I feel like I've watched so many videos myself on YouTube about it. I feel like I'm just like beating a dead horse, but you know, there's someone who's going to probably find this and like resonate with this in a certain way that maybe they haven't with another video, or like maybe this is their first time seeing it and I'm their entry into it.